Trump loves to tell a story about a snake. You've heard it before. A woman takes in a half-frozen serpent, warms it, feeds it, gives it life again. And when it recovers, the snake bites her. As she lies dying, she asks why. And the snake sneers, "You knew damn well I was a snake when you took me in." Every time Trump recites this parable, crowds cheer. They think he's warning them about immigrants, about outsiders, about some alien threat. But step back for a moment. Strip away the intended target. What you're left with is not a warning at all, but a confession. He is the snake. He is the one who was let in. And he's telling them openly that he will bite. This is not a new move in politics. In philosophy, projection has always been a kind of dark mirror. We accuse others of harboring what we secretly know in ourselves. Nietzsche understood this when he described moralists railing against instincts they themselves could not control. Freud later gave it a clinical name, but the dynamic is older than psychoanalysis. Trump's snake story is projection weaponized. Accuse the vulnerable of the very treachery you are preparing to enact. And by the time the bite lands, your followers are already applauding it as destiny. Here, the image of the ouroboros becomes useful. The snake that consumes its own tail is not just a mystical emblem of eternity. It is also a warning about systems built on appetite. A creature that devours itself has no external enemy. Its destruction comes from its own hunger turned inward. MAGA is exactly that, a movement fueled by resentment and fear whose central energy source is consumption of truth, of trust, of fellow citizens' humanity. It cannot stop feeding, and when it runs out of outsiders to blame, it inevitably turns inward, toward the people who embraced it in the first place. The Darth Bane trilogy imagined this problem in mythic terms. The Sith, driven by the dark side's logic of betrayal, kept consuming themselves, master and apprentice locked in a death spiral. Bane's rule of two was an attempt to stabilize a philosophy that otherwise guaranteed self-destruction. One master, one apprentice, no more, no less, so that the hunger could be contained, not multiplied. The fiction dramatizes a truth about destructive power. If it is fueled by domination and paranoia, it eventually devours its own adherents. Look at MAGA through that perspective and the picture clarifies. Every rally, every broadcast, every meme is an invitation to feed the serpent. Every scapegoat offered up, immigrants, queer people, Democrats, journalists, is a new piece of the body being bitten off. The system thrives on the taste of its own flesh. You can see it in the way factions within the movement turn on each other, in the way loyalty tests become more impossible, in the way yesterday's hero becomes today's traitor. The more the movement indulges its appetite for enemies, the more it manufactures enemies from within. Philosophically, this is what the Endarkenment means, not just a rejection of truth, but a deliberate embrace of the cycle of decay. The Enlightenment wagered on reason and reciprocity, the idea that by treating one another as ends in ourselves, we could build something greater than any tyrant's ambition. The Endarkenment wagers on appetite, on fear, on domination. It thrives only as long as it is devouring. And because there are never enough outsiders to feed on, it inevitably circles back to its own tail. So when Trump tells the snake story, he is not warning his followers about some shadowy other. He is rehearsing their own fate. He is telling them the end in advance, dressed as entertainment, and they cheer him for it. They welcome the serpent into their house, into their movement, into their own families, and they laugh when he boasts that betrayal is inevitable. The story ends the same way it began, with a snake, hungry, turning inward, and the crowd claps as the teeth sink in. because as he keeps reminding them, they knew he was a snake when they let him in.